Shadow Kingdom published in the pulp magazine Weird Tales. While coincidentally, these beings are shockingly similar to the modern perception of lizard people. In a nutshell, the story involves ancient, shape-shifting reptilian humanoids with elaborate underground abodes who work in the shadows to rule humanity, including via infiltrating various groups and using mind control to influence world politics. This and subsequent works by Howard would go on to popularize some version of these lizard people, including in works by a close friend of his, H.P. Lovecraft. The concept caught on from here and has shown no signs of stopping in science fiction since. Noteworthy here, for reasons we'll get to in a bit, is one individual, mystic correspondent school founder Maurice Doreal, who would seemingly be inspired by Howard's lizard people when creating many written works for his followers, most notably the Emerald Tablets of Thoth the Atlantean. Except in Doreal's case, he would use these science fiction characters to create a supposed real history of Earth that incorporates reptoids as human beings. Because sure, why not? Another notable incident that helped spread the idea of lizard people occurred in 1934 and 1935 when one G. Warren Schufelt was looking for gold in California. To aid in his endeavor, Schufelt invented a device that he claimed used radio X-rays to see deep into the Earth and was apparently able to be used to find precious metals like gold as well. Of course, his device didn't actually use X-rays, but rather used a common dowsing pendulum, as described in a January 29, 1934 edition of the Los Angeles Times. Quoting here, Schufelt's radio device consists chiefly of a cylindrical glass case inside of which...
Hi, welcome to the Machines of the Futures. We're going to be testing out our custom GPT4. Let's see. So, can it act like a trading algorithm? Jeez. Can it trade? Is this the algo to help us make money in the markets? Past performance is not indicative of future success. Check out my other video live streams. Check out my other live streams for more information. Let's do a few more tests. So, I'm going to do ES futures at the end. So let's do GBP USD. GBP USD. Wow, look at that. I'm trend. So what we do is we give it some room. Plus these indicators are free. So if you want these indicators, I'm sure you got your own, but just in case you need some indicators, those indicators are free. Okay, let's get to it. Money from investors to start excavating. Fortunately for his investors, as often happens when you download the image, countering water, with the project ultimately stopping at a depth of upload feet because of this complication. Washington successfully accomplished drilling a well. Sadly, he did not manage to find any buried treasure. Let's get our first test going. Actually, hold on. I could have messed up. So this is the current price. Let's see if it could predict it. This story is often used to support the existence of the lizard people. Beyond the fact that no such tunnels were ever found, it is explicitly noted in accounts from Schufelt at the time that these were humans who simply used the lizard as their symbol. And indeed, while there is about lizard people, it was common for the hobby to have plans that... Let's do it one more time. Download image. Most pertinent to the topic at hand, yes, there really was a lizard. I'm going to do a new conversation. Technologically advanced peoples, there is no known reference to this in any surviving hobby legends. Of course, given their history was passed down orally, much was lost before their story started to be written down. That said, further raising questions about Schufelt's story is that there is no record of a cheap Greenleaf or L. Macklin in any surviving hobby birth death record. Of course, while extensive, these lists are not comprehensive, so it's... Okay, let's try again.
exist. But as with the supposed hobby legend of these advanced lizard people,
let's see what we get.
Legitimately believed vast tunnels filled with
I want to see if it predicts this entire move from
fast forwarding to 1976, we had the 12th planet. It's similar works
basically here
the beings known as the Anarchy from the planet Nibiru came to Earth half a million years
here
ago
to up there.
Which they could use for traveling through dimensions, among other things. Thankfully for us humans,
all right, let's do this quick. To conclusion.
They apparently were involved in the building of a variety of ancient structures, such as the pyramids. Noteworthy here is that
See how the price reacts to the support and resistance levels and the volume. You want to start reading it up here. Okay, looks like the price is moving higher.
Former popular sportscaster for the BBC and prominent Green Party.
It has broken the resistance level, so it's saying this could be support. Very good. Significant spikes in volume.
Was with the strange presence that he was encountering. After a few visits, Shine allegedly told him on March 29th, 1990 that
okay, so it broke a resistance level. Let's keep on moving.
Him to use him as a clue to help humanity. Shortly after this, messages flooded in order to spare the Green Party the controversy.
So by its support, basically.
Spirit Realm was telling him in 1991, I decided to leave said political party. He then held a press conference alongside his wife, Linda Ratherton, and his girlfriend, Deborah Shaw. Okay. Announcing to the world that he was, in fact,
very good. Let's take it one step further and get our stop loss and take profit.
The world would experience a cataclysmic event in 1997, which would see such things as New Zealand disappearing into the sea. This will culminate in the entire world ceasing to exist.
It's definitely saying it's going to move higher. What's this?
Unexpected controversy from these revelations. Apparently, the reality of
this is new.
Not believing him, but actually mocking him quite openly across the country.
Okay, for long.
He stated, my very greatest fears as a child was being
1.290
coming true. As a television presenter, around been respected. People come up to you in the street and shake your hand and talk to you in a respectful way. And suddenly, overnight, this was transformed into lights and nutter. I couldn't walk down any street in Britain without being laughed at. It was a nightmare. My children were devastated because their dad was a figure of ridicule. At one point, shortly after his infamous announcement to the world, many dozens of teens even went so far as to gather in front of his house, continually chanting, "We want the Messiah, give us a sign, David." Despite it all, I soldiered on anyway, writing several astoundingly well-reviewed books, such as The Truth Shall Set You Free, The Truth Vibrations, The Children
1.310,
Changed the World, Alice in Wonderland, and Infinite Love is the only truth, among many others, with the entire catalogue having apparently sold a couple of 100,000 copies to date. On the side, Ike also sells merchandise, operates a surprisingly popular conspiracy theory website, and most lucratively of all, frequently gives public talks in front of crowds of thousands, in one instance in Australia, apparently grossing a whopping £83,000 or $102,000 in ticket sales. That's a talk in Melbourne. I'm into business. As for this,
okay, so if we delete support, what do we get?
Elements from just about
very good.
Conspiracy theory into one master theory.
What is this? This is 24-1 risk reward. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's move on to the next. Let's go odd JPY. Let's see if it could predict. Curious if it could predict this reversal over here. I'm talking about this one right here. Gonna move higher. Let's delete this.
claimed that actually the rings of Saturn were where these signals originated, with the moon itself merely amplifying and projecting them onto Earth. Which I'm not going to lie, shapeshifting interdimensional lizard aliens invading Earth using mind control, virtual reality, moon-sized spacecraft, and many other awesome technologies to take over the world. I mean, I'd watch that movie. We get someone to sum up Ike's books into one coherent trilogy and add some awesome characters, and maybe get the Wachowskis to direct it, please. Of course, in Ike's version of things, it's not Keanu Reeves who'd save the world, but of course, it's himself. I mean, he's the son of a godhead after all, and he'll reveal the truth to the world and get everyone to love one another. Ike states, David and rule is the bottom line of all dictatorships. Arab is turned against Jew, black against white, right against left. Plugging from the matrix means refusing to recognize these illusory fault lines. We are all one. I refuse to see a Jew as different from an Arab and vice versa. They are both expressions of the one and need to be observed and treated the same, none more or less important than the other. I refuse to see black people in terms that I would not see white, nor to see the left as I would not see the right.
Price has recently broken through a resistance and is testing support. The trend seems to be bullish, so it says it's going to move higher. That's pretty good right away. Wow. Wow, that's pretty good. Wow. That's pretty good.
Give them only the positive energy of love.
Key resistance, key support, 9750.
Coming up with stories with multiple incarnation, mostly seeming to have been popularized by author Woody Howard, spreading through fiction from there and ultimately adapted among other works by others, with this all culminating in the most prominent version of the Lizard People story created by the son of a godhead, Britain's own David Icke. Not proud. For full details, see the many books which the Lizard People freely allow him to publish, despite that the books reveal their ultra-secret plan in incredible detail and even out some of the most prominent members. And now for a bonus fact. Speaking of conspiracy theories, if you ever wonder why Area 51 is thought out as alien bodies and technologies, well, want to know more. First, it's important to realize what Area 51 actually is. For all intents and purposes, according to every government document ever released, Area 51 is a so-called secret military base where they test experimental pieces of military hardware. For example, experimental jets such as the SR-71 Blackbird and the Lockheed U-2 Dragon Lady were tested.
Okay, so
the latter of which was actually the first piece of hardware.
it did say it's moving higher, so we're gonna go for buy 9750.
Like the Lockheed U-2, which required a large area of flat land from which it could take off and land, while at the same time required being in an area of enemies that the US couldn't at the time easily lay their beavers on. Understandably, for a location that deals with incredibly sensitive military information that costs billions to produce, the government has a real hard-on for keeping it secret. Over the years, this hasn't exactly panned out. For example, on April the 19th, 1974, astronauts taking part in a Skylab mission accidentally photographed the airfield of alternative name, Area 51. The funny part being that this photo wasn't taken by the ship the astronauts were on. It was taken by one of the astronauts when he pointed his camera out of the window. This is despite the fact that said astronaut was under specific instructions not to take pictures of that particular area of Earth, and it's not currently known whether or not this event was a mistake made by the astronaut or a conscious decision on his behalf. In any event, the first known picture of the site to make its way into the public domain was taken in 1968 during a US geological survey. However, as far back as 1955, papers have made passing reference to the facility, referring to it as US.
This signal 9750. So, I guess we could do it over here, below this level. Take profit would be
the installation is referred to that name by then CIA Director Richard Helms.
9820.
Air reconnaissance North Vietnam in 1967. However, for the most part, the government has always either remained coy or simply ignored the site.
9850. Do we get that?
It's like to work at Area 51. Unlike pop culture would have you believe, the people who worked there aren't forbidden from ever speaking to their families.
It's pretty good.
Bunkers and written stay. Just ask James, who worked in the secret facility for decades, though James has been
A little weird, but it did say it was moving higher, so I did like the support and resistance levels. Okay, let's Let's move on.
Stating the cameras of a nearby family.
Let's do Euro JPY really fast.
State government and military officials with decades of
Let's see if it predicts this move. 162.611 and move lower. Let's see if we get any confirmation. Okay.
Well, I think not much. Though today, some conspiracy theorists believe that the craft that crashed at Roswell was of alien origin, and that it was, or is now being stored in Area 51. When the incident first took place, Area 51 wasn't mentioned in any documentation from that time, not to mention the fact that the two sites are hundreds of miles apart. If the wreckage was of alien origin and it was moved, it's likely the government would have moved it somewhere closer. Though the Roswell Daily Record from July the 6th, 1947 did feature the words flying saucer on its front page, secret government facilities, and in particular Area 51, were not mentioned. It turns out...
Okay, really fast. What do we got?
In an official sense. No idea it even existed, meaning that
162.80. So this is resistance, I think.
Stories about aliens being held in Area 51 are a rather recent invention. You see, it wasn't until 1989 when one Robert Lazar appeared on a Las Vegas TV station under the guise of a government scientist and stated that Area 51 was just full of alien technology.
So yeah, so move lower.
It's really started to gain momentum. We should mention that almost as soon as Lazar appeared on TV, every single one of his credentials was pulled to pieces. No school he claimed to attend had ever heard of him, and the science behind his so-called theories was soundly debunked. Nevertheless, it caught on from there, and Hollywood picked up on it and spread the idea further, perhaps most famously in the 1996 blockbuster Independence Day.
16150.
UFOs, aliens, little green men, and Area 51 were in no way linked as far as popular public opinion was concerned until exactly one man with no credible credentials went on TV and claimed that that was the case. And people have run with it ever since because that's what people do. It's pretty good news that the lizards are going to take over soon because we can't be trusted to govern ourselves.
Okay, 1630, stop loss.
My group developed a system that can heal wounds without scar.
Did you just say it heals without scars?
Yeah, it healed without scab or scar formation.
161.
You should be jumping. Yes, look, I moved down. Wow.
Oh, that's crazy. That's just fucking crazy.
Star Talk, special edition. Neil deGrasse Tyson, you're a personal astrophysicist.
Looks like, yeah.
You know who else is my co-host? Chuck Nice. Chuck, baby. Hey, what's happening, Neil? All right, professional comedian and actor, of course, Gary O'Reilly. Gary, dude.
Should I be surprised at this?
Soccer pro and soccer
A lot better than JPY, Euro JPY. Nice clean win. Nice clean win.
Special edition, as you know, we discuss things
nice
that affect
clean win.
human mind, human
Okay.
physiology, just what it is to be human in this world, biochemically and physically. And this particular episode.
What else do we got? GBP, GPY. Kind of looks like the same thing, so we'll move on to ES Futures. And ES Futures, of course, we like to trade on the 15-minute, I'm sorry, in the 15 range chart.
About time we delved into some
So,
medical engineering, followed it with some regenerative medicine, and then decided, you know what, let's point it out.
it's the 15 range chart.
To find ways to help the human body adapt to long-term space travel. And do you remember, about 14 years ago or so, the 100-year Starship project from 2011? Well, our guest was a part of, an integral part of that endeavor. So that's where we'll
Let's
begin.
see,
We'll then hand over the floor to our Patreon
I
listeners
think it already did
to
predict this
answer
move.
their
Right?
questions. So, Neil, if you would introduce our guest, and
Now this is
you'll find
Tuesday.
out where the human body and space will meet.
So yes, our guest today, it's not her first time.
Okay, so this is Tuesday. This is today.
Professor Runke
Let's see.
is here in the Star Talk house.
Put it right
Professor
there.
Runke,
Thank you.
I'm
for
pretty
having me.
interested to see
yeah,
what it's
so you're
gonna
around here.
it's gonna
Oh my
find
God.
out.
If I did not do astrophysics, this is what I'd want to do. Your PhD in
Very cool.
biomechanical engineering. Oh.
Wow.
So so you're the ones who invented like the Terminator, okay? Let's be clear about that.
Yeah, that would be us.
Living tissue over endoskeleton. Let me hear you say, no, we would never do that. Let me hear you say that.
I mean, I would never do that, but I am sure that somebody would be like, that's cool.
Okay.
And if they could, would. But we're so far away from that right now.
And you also have a degree in aeronautical engineering.
Mhm.
And so that.
So let's see if it predicts this move over here.
This mechanical engineering off the ground. And like I said, you're a previous guest on Star Trek, so just welcome back.
Thank you.
And so, Gary, why don't you
Okay.
launch this rocket here? What do you have in mind?
Okay, Runke, if I can call you that, or if you prefer Professor, remind us, if you would, about the 100-year Starship project and your area of involvement in what was the overall outcome.
Well, so it's not done because it's not 100 years yet, right? So
Point.
it's the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, and it was initiated by government
5640.
in order to kind of inject an enthusiasm for space travel and spaceflight. If you look back at what the Apollo missions
5610
did for
support.
not just the economy, but for technology that we're still using today, it really transformed our world to the point that we're living in the space age. So, like, we have cell phones because they needed to communicate with the astronauts, things like that. And so the idea is we decided in 1961 to go to the moon and landed there in 1969. What if we had decided that in 1869? What would
So
our
it kind of
technology
did
and
predict
world
here.
look like today? And so that was the goal, to initiate
A move
like,
lower.
let's stop saying it's impossible, because in 1869 they thought it was impossible too. Let's just say, okay, if we can do it, what do we need? Well, we need, to go fast
Wait, just to be clear, you're talking about traveling to the stars.
to another star. Yes,
Another star.
interstellar.
Right now, we're jet setting around the solar system. That's like nothing. That's,
Yes.
a few years here and there. So Starship was not just a poetic name; it's a destination.
It's a destination, but it's also.
So looks like it did get it right. Where is it?
It doesn't matter if we don't get there if we can get all the things that we need to do so. So in the
Wow,
same
look at
way
that.
that even if we didn't land on the moon, all
5610. It got it.
technology that was built around
Nice.
trying to make that happen really transformed our world. And so if we decide that we need suspended animation, right? How is that going to help on Earth?
Man, that's
Maybe
crazy.
you can get
That's
somebody.
crazy.
There's some fields
All
where
right.
there's only 5 people in the world who can perform that surgery. And if their backlog is 100 patients wide, put them in suspended animation. Or maybe you're in a battlefield. Can you put them in suspended animation so that they don't bleed out, so that they don't die right there?
It's pretty good.
You just really
That's
need
pretty
a
good.
nap.
Yeah, suspended animation.
So what you
Looks like
is
a lot of
ask
different
yourself, what
robots
the
are
questions that
pretty
we
good
haven't
with the
yet
15 range chart.
Yeah.
Like to see that.
So,
That's good.
like,
Yeah.
a lot of, and it would need to
It's
be manual because you can't take
doing pretty
anything
good
with
with
you,
the
right? So I mean,
technical
you can't take the book
analysis.
with you, but you can't back
Yeah,
to resupply.
kind of scary, but pretty good.
Wandering Earth.
Pretty good so far. Okay, guys.
To visit the other stars.
I think that's gonna be it.
Yes.
Like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.
That was awesome. That movie.
Wandering Earth, the sequel.
In a community where there is always fun.